welcome along to the AFTV Tactical Insight Show with Graham. Of course, there's been lots and lots of controversy surrounding the Europa League final. Well, there is actually going to be a game played, right? And once we get nearer to that game, you know, we're going to be not concentrating on all that negative stuff. We're going to be really getting into the game. And obviously, it's how do we beat Chelsea? That's what, because whatever, forget all the, you know, put all the problems aside that have been going on around the game, it's going to be a really tough game. Chelsea, they beat us one time this season. They beat us at their place. We beat them at our place. It is a 50-50 game. Yeah. They've got star players in Hazard, Kante, Giroud. You know, we've got our guys, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil. For me, you couldn't get a more even game than this. Yeah. How do we beat them, Graham?
Well, I think there's two ways to beat them. I think Chelsea are a very easy team to analyse, Robbie. And the way they play, they're a possession-based team. And I think you have to think about how you're going to stop them building up in the first phase. I've put the two 11s here that I think they're going to be played in this final. I think Chelsea will stick to their 4-3-3. We will play a 3-4-1-2 that we've played in the last 4 matches.
I noticed in your 11 you've got Cech in there.
Yeah.
Should he start?
Look, he's a professional, Cech. He's on our payroll to May the 31st. I get the emotion of all the fans of the announcement that's come out this week, but we always knew he was going to Chelsea. The manager has said all along that he's going to play Cech. He's his cup goalkeeper. And he's probably said that in the dressing room to all the players. So he now turns around and says to Cech, you're not going to play in that final. What sort of message does that send to the players?
It's happened before.
It's a lack of trust. So I think he has to
play. But he's going to Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's going to Chelsea. He's, you know, why are we being sentimental about somebody who's not being sentimental themselves when it comes to their moving forward? Moving forward, he's going to Chelsea. Moving forward, should we not be going with a goalkeeper that's our future?
We're not being sentimental. What we're being is we're being what we said we were going to be. And that was, he was our cup goalkeeper. He's still a quality keeper.
Is he better than Leno?
No. And the
fact then why is he playing?
Because he made that commitment to Cech. And look...
So we're being sentimental then?
No.
Oh, yeah. He's not better than Leno, is he?
No, if this announcement hadn't come out this week, we wouldn't be having this debate, would we?
But it has come out. And that's why, for me, I didn't have a problem with Cech starting before, but now I don't know.
Look back the last 3 cup finals we've won. 3 goalkeepers. We knew that they were our number 2 cup goalkeepers. Fabianski against Hull, Szczesny against Aston Villa, and Ospina against Chelsea in the cup final. They left at the end of that season. We knew the likelihood was that they would move on. So the question more...
Say it in that way, I suppose it's a good omen then.
Yeah, it's a good omen. So the question more is around, should he be playing him in the first place? Should he not be playing his best goalkeeper in a final? And for me, I would play Leno in the final. But he's made that commitment to Cech. So why would he now change it? So just coming back to how we beat Chelsea, there's 2 ways we beat Chelsea. One is to nullify him at the first phase, to stop Jorginho in build-up. And the second thing is the way we attack them. We need to start fast with high energy like we did at the Emirates. He played a diamond 4 midfield that day, and Ramsey was absolutely pivotal, and he is a massive miss in this final. If we had Ramsey there, I'll be more confident. Now, not that I don't think Ozil's a great player, not that I don't think Ozil can do something for us in the final, and I think we really need to get Ozil in between their midfield in this area. Get him on the ball in between their midfield and their midfield and their defence, right? That's what we need to do.
Let me ask you a question, yeah? If Mkhitaryan did play in the final, which we all know now he's not going, would you have started him instead of Ozil in that position? Because like you said, you want the high energy, you want somebody who's going to get about the pitch a bit more. Would you have started him or Ozil?
And I had this conversation in the office with some of your colleagues before I came in here today, and we were talking about the same thing. I think Mkhitaryan would offer us more in that position. He would offer us what Ozil would offer us going forward in that area as a number 10, but his work rate is better than Ozil's, we know that. So the only worry for me is, can Ozil work hard off the ball and block that passing lane? Because I'm a great believer in sort of like Chelsea are going to play out from the back. We know how Sarri plays. It's the same sort of formation. The centre halves will split, Luiz and Christensen. They will play out primarily to Luiz. Luiz will either go into Jorginho or he'll look to go out left to Emerson. And then Emerson would go, maybe some build-up play around here with Kovacic. But ultimately, it will go into Jorginho. So you need to block that first phase. Once you block that first phase, you stop Chelsea in build-up. So that's crucial. And that's what we did at the Emirates. The other thing that we need to do, which we didn't have to worry about at the Emirates, is Hazard. How Hazard, as much as we like to think Ozil's a big match player, Hazard is also a big match player.
He's an elite player.
He's an elite player, and he can kill us in this game if we give him too much space. So what I'll be looking at is Hazard's going to be pushing on down this side. I'm going to be asking Torreira to do almost like a man marking job on Hazard. Now, not like Herrera did for Man United, where he's literally followed him all over the pitch. But whenever Hazard comes down here, which he is going to do a lot, I want Torreira to be coming across into that space. So
because otherwise he'll terrorise Maitland-Niles. Because we've seen Maitland-Niles even in the semi-final against Valencia get a really hard time, and they will target him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going to target Maitland-Niles' side, no doubt about it, as much as we're going to target Emerson's side. So for us, let's talk about the positives, what we're going to do, not what they're going to do at the moment. Let's talk about how we're going to beat them offensively.
Yeah.
And that is, I think we've got to look to sort of use our two centre forwards, our two elite forwards. They've got a big role to play in this final, Robbie. Not only about scoring goals. Remember, although they've got Giroud is the leading goal scorer in the competition with 10, but he's probably done it against the dog and duck sides, yeah? but we've got elite goal scorers. They haven't got a lot of goals in this team. Look at this midfield. No. How many? All the Chelsea fans who are probably watching this, tell me how many goals you've got.
Well, it's Hazard, isn't it?
It's Hazard.
Hazard's the main guy.
And Giroud. Pedro, I think, will play over William for energy. I think William might start low, but Pedro, I think he'll play for energy.
Do you think he'll start with Giroud though, or Higuain?
No, Giroud.
You definitely think so?
He's playing all the way through. The biggest miss for Chelsea is these three players I've highlighted. And I will go back to what I'm going to talk about offensively in a minute. Rudiger is going to be a massive miss for them, Robbie.
Massive.
Because he's
good player.
He's a good player. He's a proper defender with pace. These two are more sort of defenders who read the game, haven't got that pace. So this is why I want Ozil in here to look to slide Aubameyang in between this gap. If we can get Ozil, he's the one with the vision who can slide in Aubameyang or Lacazette in between these two, who basically haven't got pace to recover. We know that, for example, Chelsea will play out through the back. And we know that what they tend to do is Emerson's the one who more goes forward to join Hazard. And we know Azpilicueta then sort of comes across and sits. So they don't use their right side that much. They normally just go down this left side. So that's why Maitland-Niles is going to need protection from Torreira coming across, I think, and also from Socrates on that side. So we know they're going to use that side. But when Emerson is going forward and when we get into transition, I think Aubameyang and Lacazette have got two crucial roles to play. I think Lacazette has got to get out here. He's got to position himself between Luiz and Emerson. So every time Emerson pushes on, I want him to pull out here, right, into this area here. And I think we should look to hit him in this area out here. Then I want Aubameyang, who's coming out here, to look to make diagonal runs into the box, right? So, and we saw it in the game at the Emirates where they nearly combined to score a goal early on, where we played the ball out to Lacazette in this area when Alonso had gone further forward and he got the crossing and Aubameyang came in and nearly scored. So that is a tactic I think that worked well and we can use in this game. And I want him to give Azpilicueta a few sort of like questions to answer. These two will sit here. Emerson will move on. So Azpilicueta will probably form a 3 out of possession across the back. I want him to pull out here, right, and give Azpilicueta a decision to make. Kolasinac by now is going to be coming up on the outside. Now, does Azpilicueta go with Aubameyang when he comes inside, or does he go with Kolasinac? That's going to be what I want to give Azpilicueta decisions to make, and also to be worried about Aubameyang in this area. So that is something I think we can do offensively. And then I want Ozil to be joining centrally here to get into the box to sort of like look to get on the end of things as well. So they're the three things I think we could do offensively. We could sort of like try and create space, exploit space, with Lacazette exploiting the space when Emerson goes forward out in these areas, and Aubameyang try and create space in this area for Kolasinac. So that's two of our attacking weapons. So that's what I think we need to do. I think in the midfield, we talked about Rudiger being a massive miss in their defence. I think this guy is a massive miss, and I think all Chelsea fans...
He's been playing very well, hasn't he? Loftus-Cheek.
He has been outstanding the last couple of months, Robbie. He offers them that drive in midfield that this guy doesn't. This guy is more a possession-based sort of player, sits and recycles the ball around. They've turned into a bit of a ticky-tacky sort of team, Chelsea, more like the old Wenger style, with these sort of midfielders, you know. So there's no real drive there. He offered them that drive, and he could also offer them assists and goals. So he's a massive miss, and I think we can't also underestimate how much Hudson-Odoi.
Although Pedro is a
well, I just think
Hudson-Odoi.
I think Sarri. I think all Chelsea fans, I think during the season have sort of like wanted these two in the side, and he took a long time to get them in the side, and they were just starting to produce with these two players in the team, and they both got injured.
But so Pedro, we have to watch, because Pedro, remember, I think he scored against us at Stamford Bridge.
And on that day,
and he's a very quick and very intelligent player in getting in behind defences.
Yeah, and of course the problem is if you play that high line that we did that day. But we didn't have Koscielny that day, and Koscielny offers a bit more pace in recovery. And also Torreira didn't start that day. He's somebody who's quick, who can not only sprint to the ball and in recoveries, but can also get back and defend. So, yes, Pedro's an intelligent footballer. He offers them energy, but I think he's probably at the twilight of his career now. And so I think that Arsenal have got a great chance in this final simply because Chelsea have got a lot of their good players missing. Rudiger, Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, I think, would have played in this final. Had they played, I think Chelsea would be favourites. As you say, because they are not playing, it's what, 50-50.
Is there any risk in playing two players up front in this game?
For us?
Know? Yeah.
No.
You know, he's playing Aubameyang and Lacazette. You know, they do have, as you said, a midfield that is pretty creative. Is there any risk with not having that extra protection in the midfield by then having two players up front? I mean, those two players up front are going to have to work very hard, aren't they?
Well, of course, and they do that. What we want from them, we want them pressing. We want them pressing from the front early. So we need to start this game with high energy, Robbie. We need to sort of like.
Surely we will. It's a cup final.
We will be, yeah. But what I'm saying is, so they are part of that.
Yeah.
That comes from the front of the team, from the work rate from the front of the team. So they need to press from the front, and I think we need to. I think if you look at this Chelsea sort of defence and midfield, you want your two centre forwards pressing onto these two centre halves. You want your wing backs high here on Emerson and Azpilicueta and blocking off, maybe sitting diagonally in here to stop their passing lanes into the centre midfield. And then you want Ozil to sort of like try and sit on Jorginho. The question is, a lot of fans have been saying to me, can Ozil do that role that Ramsey did so well at the Emirates? And the simple answer is he can't. But I think we have to look at the advantages he offers you offensively against what he offers you out of possession. But just think that if you said to, I mean, your son plays football and the coach will say to him, whether whether he's brilliant at that role or not, just sit on the guy. Just sit there. But just cut the lane off. You don't have to be outstanding at it, but if you're it's a bit like a defender jockeying a forward, you don't need to challenge your jockey. A bit like a midfielder, just sit there in front of him. It gives him a problem if he's sitting, if Ozil's sitting on him. But we need to. This is the build-up play. Chelsea. It's all about this guy, Jorginho. Whether they're going to mix it up at all, but I want them to start thinking about going long. The other thing is they have got Giroud, so Giroud is obviously going to be. I think one of our three centre halves is going to have to come out and engage with Giroud. I think Giroud will peel off on this side because he wants to engage with Hazard. So I think I will be asking probably, if he's going on that side, I want Socrates, who's probably good at engaging in duels, to come across and challenge with him, because Koscielny's got the speed
Keep those yellow cards down.
at the back. But you know, I think it's a tough game to call this.
Very tough.
I think, but when we played at the Emirates, there is an argument for going for a 4-4-2 setup, you know. And if we did that, we'd play four at the back, and we would probably play the extra midfielder with Guendouzi. All right, so we'd have Guendouzi, Xhaka, and Torreira. So you'd have Xhaka at the base, you'd have Torreira on the right, you'd have Guendouzi on the left, and Ozil at the top. But then you'd have to play.
But you can't really mess with this partnership. That partnership's
you wouldn't be messing with the
devastating, isn't it?
They would still play with the two up top, Robbie. You'd still have your two forwards, but you wouldn't have the wing back. So under that 4-4-2, you'd be asking Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac to get up to support the attack, and they'd be playing a four at the back. And we know that when we play at the four at the back, it leaves us vulnerable, you know, because teams exploit the space.
The thing that I worry about most with the Chelsea this game is obviously the counter-attack. That's where we've been getting done game after game all season. If we can cope with that, we've got a great chance. And obviously, the key players. I mean, pick out the two key players for Arsenal and pick out the two key players for Chelsea.
Well, that's easy, isn't it? I think our two key players obviously are two forwards.
Yep.
They are absolutely.
Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Because basically they are. great together in this side. The personality, you can see the way they love playing with each other. They are almost like the personality of the team now. So we're relying on them for goals. That's the problem for Chelsea. Chelsea haven't, as much as Chelsea have got probably better players than us, we've got what they haven't got that can kill them, 2 goal scorers. The 2 key players for Chelsea, obviously Jorginho in the first phase, because he's got no goals and no assists though. That's worth mentioning. But he's almost like crucial to Sarri ball. And then obviously Hazard now, rightfully restored in that position out wide left where he's so dangerous. I think nullifying Hazard is almost as big a thing we have to do as nullifying Jorginho, if not more. And that's why I think Torreira, I think he's somebody who can tackle, somebody who can sprint quickly, who can get back in recoveries. He's the one I think is absolutely crucial. I don't want Hazard man marked, but I think Torreira has got to be aware of Hazard at all times. And that's what I say, Robbie.
Well, it's going to be a great occasion. It's going to be a massive game. It's a very important game for Arsenal. If we can win this, not only do we win our first European trophy since 1994, we also get back into the Champions League. And let's hope they employ Graham's tactics and we do it.